Hello everybody, today let me tell you about my daily activities. First of all, let me talk about my morning. I get up early at 5:30 a.m. I go to bed early so I can get up early. I get up early to cook meals for my children, and then I clean up the house and go to the office at 7:30 a.m. I have breakfast at home at 7 a.m. and if I had breakfast on the way to work, I had breakfast at near or in my company at 8 o'clock with my colleagues. I think sometimes I do exercise in the morning. I think morning exercise is very important for my health because after a long sleep, my body is refreshed and work again for a new day. So I have to do exercise in the morning. It's one of activity for my muscles and mind. Next, after doing exercise, I make breakfast for my children and for myself. I had breakfast at home, and sometimes I had breakfast with my colleagues. I never skip breakfast because I think skipping breakfast is so bad for my health. After a long sleep at night, my body needs energy to work again, and so I should have breakfast to gain calories for my body. The next activity, I often have lunch at noon. If I don't have lunch at home with my parents, I will eat out with my customer, partners or friends at some restaurants. Sometimes I have lunch at my office with my colleagues. I think it will tighten the relationship among employees. Besides working, we need to have time to gossip with, talk with, and talk to one another. I think lunch is the time when employees can easily talk about their families, hobbies, problems, and daily activity. This can make them understand one another more. So let me talk about my favorite foods. I often have rice, meat, fish, vegetables for my lunch or my dinner. Sometimes I enjoy other tastes such as Korean, Thai, Chinese food. They are so delicious, but I prefer Vietnamese food because it's familiar with my taste. So that's all for my presentation today. Thank you for your attention. To know more information, do not hesitate to ask me. Thank you.
Okay, what time do you get up in the morning?
I usually get up in the morning at 5:30 a.m.
And how can you get up early?
Because I go to bed early, so I can get up early.
What do you often do after getting up?
I often get up early to cook meals for my children. Then I clean up the house and go to the office at 7:30 a.m.
Do you exercise in the morning?
Yes, sometimes I do exercise in the morning at home, but I usually do exercise in the club.
Okay. What kind of morning exercises do Vietnamese people often do?
I think Vietnamese people usually do exercise in the morning, such as running in the park, doing yoga in the club or do exercise at home.
How important is morning exercise?
Morning exercise is very important for my health because after long sleep, my body needs is refreshed and ready to start a new working day. So I have to do exercise. It's one of activity for my muscles and mind.
Do you make breakfast for yourself or you buy it?
I have breakfast at home, and sometimes I have breakfast on the way to work.
Okay. What do you usually eat for your breakfast?
I usually have breakfast with phở, hủ tiếu, bún riêu, bread at some open air restaurants.
Okay. What time do you often have breakfast?
I often have breakfast at 7 a.m. And so if I have breakfast near or in my company, I have breakfast at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Who do you usually eat breakfast with, and how do you feel when you have breakfast with him or her?
If I have breakfast at home, I eat with my parents, and if I have breakfast at my company, I eat with my college. It's joyful.
Do you think that skipping breakfast is so bad for your health?
I think skipping breakfast is so bad for my health because after a long sleep at night, my body needs energy to work again, and so I should have breakfast to gain calories for my body.
In your opinion, what is nutritious breakfast?
I think nutritious breakfast should be full of vital vitamins. My body needs necessary nutrition such as protein, fat, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. And breakfast needs to meet this requirement of nutrition.
What time do you often have lunch?
I often have lunch at noon.
Where do you usually have lunch?
I usually have lunch at home, and sometimes I'm busy, I eat out.
Okay. If you have lunch at home, who do you have lunch with?
If I have lunch at home, I have with my parents.
What about eating out? Who do you have lunch with?
If I eat out, I have lunch with my parents. With my friends, partners, or customers.
Okay. What kind of food do you often have for your lunch?
I often have rice, meat, fish, and vegetables for my lunch.
Okay. Do you prefer Vietnamese traditional food or Western food for your lunch or dinner?
I prefer Vietnamese food for my lunch and dinner because it's familiar with my taste.
Have you ever eaten Korean, Thai, or Japanese food? And do you like them?
I have eaten Thai, Korean, Japanese food. I feel I feel they are delicious, but I prefer Vietnamese food.
Okay. Do you think that having lunch together with partners will tighten the relationship among employees?
I think it will tighten the relationship among employees because besides working, we need to have time to gossip with, talk with, and talk to one another. I think lunch is the time when employees can easily talk about their families, hobbies, daily activities. This can make them understand to one another more.
Okay, thank you very much.